I finally got to see Here Comes the Devil. Here's my review. Yeah, the reason I say I finally got to see Here Comes the Devil is because last year I missed it at one of the festivals, so I had to wait till it comes to on demand. It just seemed like it almost got away, but with the holidays, I finally got to see it. So here's my review for Here Comes the Devil. Came out in 2012, like I said, but it's available on demand now. I'm sure it's going to be coming on DVD shortly. Came out on a lot of people's top 10 lists for this year that I was looking at. There's just a lot of hype around this movie for some reason. That's originally the reason I wanted to see it. And I'm not familiar with the director's other work. His name is Adrian Garcia Bagliano. He did the B is for Bigfoot thing on ABCs of Death. It didn't leave an impression on me because I don't remember it. But he's done a lot of work, and that brings us to Here Comes the Devil. And the plot is pretty simple. I don't want to go into too many details because it would ruin it because it's a very straightforward film. But these kids are on a trip with their family. They wind up taking a hike up this hill. They go missing, and when they come back, they're a little strange. And from there, it leads to all kinds of weird family dynamics and hints of Satanism and some demonic stuff. I don't want to go into it, but what I liked about the movie right away was straightforward. Like I said, the story could have took place any time period. It didn't matter. Technology didn't play into it. It was just a very basic story. And they really kicked up the sex in this, and I think sex always goes good with demonic possession. The scenes in this movie were pretty steamy. I was like blushing, you know, a couple of them. It was good. It starts off right at the beginning with the scene, kind of puts you in the horror mood a little bit, and then it goes into this very kind of a little, you know, Ty West pacing there, you know, methodical story of this family, what's going on with these kids, and what the hell happened on this hill. And there's a couple of creepy characters. The family themselves seemed kind of creepy. The kids are definitely creepy. And the whole thing, you know, you got your sex, and then the whole thing seemed a little inspired by Giallo movies. Slightly, there's a couple scenes with these weird psychedelic flashbacks, and then it just had like a European horror feel to it, the whole movie. It's a Mexican film, so it's all subtitles, if I didn't mention that. Sorry, that doesn't bug me, so I don't think it's important, but you know, the only thing is you can't judge the acting too good. But it definitely had a touch of De Palma and the Italian horror in it, definitely, which I liked. With some kicked up sex scenes, definitely good with my devil possession, Satanism stuff. I like all that. And the bad stuff, there isn't a lot to complain about because at the end, the flatness of the film kind of made more sense to me. I think where the director was trying to go. Like I said, I'm not familiar with his other work, so I don't know if this was like a completely different style of film for him or what. But, you know, everything has this somber sort of tone, and by the end of the film, it plays out perfectly. During the film, it feels a little flat and drawn out, but it's a lot of tension between the families, which work, like I said. There are some weird edits in there, and it's not the psychedelic weird scene, but just a couple of weird little edits that bug me, and, you know, you could tell it's done on a low budget. Doesn't really affect the story at all. That's fine. But even though the way the film ended, I still think there's something missing. I can't really touch on it. And there's these really atrocious floating scenes, and when you get to them, you know what I'm talking about. I just think they were completely unnecessary. The floating just seemed kind of stupid. It made the movie, it kind of brought the movie down a little bit. It took me out of it a minute, kind of made me laugh for a second. And I just wish kind of there was more to the story, even though, like I said, the nice, straightforward, clean movie, you know, kind of stylized, would have been ruined by this complex plot and stuff. But I just think there was something missing. I think it was intentional by the director. The more I think about it, just to play, you know, leave more up to your imagination and stuff. Yeah, so I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, and it's kind of a soft 4 right now. I want to watch it again. I think it's gonna play good a second time because I'll probably catch a little more details. But it's definitely a film worth watching if you're into horror. It's just, you know, the sex is hot under the collar. It's kind of a cool, straightforward throwback story a little bit. I think a lot of directors like James Wan and, like I said, Rob Zombie are trying to go for it. I don't know if this director was trying to go for it in this movie or just worked out that way with a low budget and everything, but it worked. The film ends on a high note. I thought a strong note, really strong actually. It's a very basic story, but it's hard to guess kind of what's going to happen up to the end. So that's the stuff I liked about it. Like I said, I think it's going to have a high rewatch value. Definitely check out Here Comes the Devil, 4 out of 5, and let me know what you thought down below. And if you're familiar with the director's work, let me know down below. I know some of you guys out there are probably familiar with his work. So, all right, guys, see you soon with my top 10.